Welcome to Always Sandwire. Today we're talking about netizens' reaction toward Anthony Loke's response to the recent Sabah election results.
Right. And the context here, the trigger for everything, was the Democratic Action Party's total defeat in Sabah.
Total is the word. They didn't win a single one of the 8 seats they were going for.
Not one. So Anthony Loke, as the party's leader, he comes out with a statement. He says he takes full responsibility, accepts the outcome, and promises they'll learn their lesson.
And on paper, that sounds like the right move. It's what a leader is supposed to do.
Supposed to.
But the reaction online was immediate. And it was furious. It showed this huge gap between the party and, well, the people who used to support them.
It's like that phrase, I take full responsibility, just lit a fuse.
It really did. So let's get into that first wave of comments because it was so laser-focused. The second he said full responsibility, netizens just filled in the blank for him.
And the blank was resign.
Just that, one word, over and over again. For so many people, the idea of taking responsibility without any actual consequence is, well, it's meaningless.
It's just PR. It's political jargon. If the price for a complete wipeout is just a promise to, work harder, then what does accountability even mean?
And you see this in the comments so clearly. It's not subtle. It's just question after question.
Yeah, things like resign or how to take responsibility, resign.
My favorite was the really blunt one. Resign for negligence. No room for interpretation there.
None at all. And I think it points to this really deep cynicism that's set in. The voters are essentially screaming, we've heard the apologies before. Show us something real.
They want a performative act of consequence, something visible.
Exactly. The penalty has to match the failure. And losing all 8 seats, that's a massive failure. Just saying my bad doesn't cut it anymore.
There was one comment that really summed it up. It called Loke's response all talk.
I saw that one.
And the question was just so direct. If you don't resign, what does your responsibility even mean? I mean, that's not a policy debate. That's a challenge to his integrity.
It is, and that feeling was amplified by others. Someone brought up an old quote sarcastically saying something like, oh, he said he wouldn't mind serving only 1 term anyway.
Ouch. The implication being his commitment was never that strong to begin with.
Precisely. It makes his current promise to keep fighting feel a bit, well, hollow.
So the big takeaway here is that responsibility without resignation just looks like an excuse. But then there's this whole other reaction.
Yes.
Beyond the anger and the calls to resign, there was just pure celebration.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Why would you celebrate your own side, or what used to be your side, getting crushed?
Commenters were using phrases like universal celebration and great satisfaction. They weren't happy about who won. They were happy about who lost.
And that's because they were celebrating the power of their own vote, the power to send a message.
And the message was that their loyalty is not a blank check.
That's the core of it, the rejection of this fixed vote mentality. You saw it stated so plainly. Don't think the Chinese community is the party's fixed vote.
They saw this defeat as payback, the result of what they called long-term arrogance and self-righteousness.
The perception is that the party got into power and just took them for granted, forgot who put them there.
And you feel that sense of betrayal in the language they use. One person just said, the tricks are worn out.
That says so much. It suggests that all the old campaign promises, the slogans, they just don't work anymore. People feel like they've seen the trick before.
And there was another really sharp critique, a comment that said, the party has now become the silent party.
Right, what do you think they mean by that specifically?
Well, it implies that when they were in the opposition, they were loud, they were fighting. But once they got a taste of power, silence.
They stopped advocating. They stopped representing the interests of the people who elected them because maybe it became politically inconvenient.
And you can see how that would feel like a huge betrayal. It led to this sense of empowerment almost.
Oh, definitely. People are encouraging others across the country. We saw comments like, Malayans need to learn from Sabahans and dare to reject the party.
It's like Sabah just delivered a masterclass in voter independence.
It's a very public statement that says, we are not a voting bloc, we are voters. And we will punish failure.
Which brings us to the whole Sabah context itself. This wasn't just about a party. It was a lesson in political geography.
Absolutely. The local identity, the localist sentiment was everywhere in the comments. A really common theme was Sabahans should support local parties and chase out Malayan parties.
It's an assertion of regional identity against what they see as, I guess, political colonialism from the West.
That's a strong way to put it, but it fits. And that feeling was definitely fueled by some of the party's past rhetoric.
You have to bring up the whole adopting the region idea.
Oh, they got mocked for that relentlessly. Comments like, now there is no chance to adopt. It was seen as so condescending.
As if Sabah was a child that needed a guardian from West Malaysia.
Exactly. And one netizen really nailed it. They said the party just assumed that slogans that worked in West Malaysia would work here too.
It's a huge political miscalculation. Just assuming you can copy-paste your strategy without understanding the local culture, the local politics.
The local intelligence, really. And that arrogance then opened the door to something else.
Yeah, it's like the dam broke.
Yeah.
If the party is failing in Sabah, people start asking, well, how is the leader doing in his day job?
And suddenly the focus shifted from the election to his actual performance as transport minister.
This is where the critique gets really specific. It's not just about feelings of betrayal anymore. It's about policy.
And it gets very granular, very focused on ringgit and cents. One commenter wrote this long breakdown of transport policies.
Specifically the EV license plates and the proposed electronic car plate system.
Yes. The argument was that these policies are fundamentally flawed, that they aren't about public service, they're about making money.
For who, though? That's the key part of the critique.
For syndicates, as they put it. The belief is that these mandatory systems allow certain companies to monopolize the service.
And the government isn't paying for it as public infrastructure.
No. The cost gets passed directly to the consumer.
How does that work, exactly?
Well, the way they explain it is that the cost of, say, the new electronic plate system gets bundled into the price of a new car.
Ah, so you don't even see it as a separate fee.
Right. It just inflates the car's sticker price. And since almost everyone finances a car over, 7 or 9 years?
You end up paying interest on it for nearly a decade.
Exactly. You're paying a high price plus interest for something that feels like it should be a basic government-funded service. The perception is that profit for a select few is being put ahead of the public's wallet.
That is a brilliant point, because it connects a political failure in Sabah to a policy decision that literally cost people money in their monthly installments nationwide.
It shows how sophisticated the public scrutiny has become. They're not just angry, they're analyzing the financial models of government policies.
All that political capital they built up over the years by promising clean governance.
It's just evaporating with policies like these, which people see as benefiting cronies, not citizens.
There was one comment that just tied everything together perfectly. The perceived arrogance, the policy issues, the election loss.
Let me guess, was it the one about being good at telling stories?
That's the one. The greatest fatal flaw is being excellent at telling stories, second-rated doing work, and champion level at making excuses.
That just cuts right to the bone, doesn't it?
It really does. It captures the entire feeling of disillusionment. They feel like they were sold this beautiful story of reform, and the reality is just more of the same.
Business as usual, just with different people in charge.
So, with all of this feedback, the anger, the policy critiques, what's the takeaway for the party? Because buried in all the rage, there is some advice.
There is. You get some comments that are, constructive in a very harsh way.
Yeah.
People saying it's time to reflect deeply and actually correct the mistakes.
Not just say you're going to.
Right. Actually figure out what went wrong on the ground, not just spin the loss.
But that's a minority view, isn't it? The overwhelming feeling seems to be cynical.
Deeply cynical. The more common sentiment is sarcasm. People predicting they will surely come out tomorrow and use old promises to coax people again.
The big question is whether the party leadership gets it. Do they realize that, as so many netizens said, people have awakened?
At the end of the day, this whole episode shows that the old rules don't apply. Just saying you take responsibility isn't enough anymore. Accountability now has to be immediate, has to be visible.
It has to be real.
Whether that means a resignation or a complete, credible change in policy, the voters have made it very clear that failure has a price.
So what stands out to you in all this? Do you think a resignation is really necessary to show you're accountable? Or is sticking around and trying to fix things the better way to win back that trust? Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.